Welcome into the Section YY podcast. Negative Nease and Harb joining you right out of the gate. We're hoping to be joined by Big Montana here in just a bit. Not sure where Day Vol is tonight. He must be hiding. I don't know if it's because the Vols lost or because Disney has planned on letting go 7,000 employees and their subscription base to Disney Plus is plummeting right now. So he might be
tough scene.
He's had a tough couple days.
Yeah,
Sad.
I feel for him. It is sad. But never get too low on the lows and never get too high on the highs. He'll bounce back here in a few days.
That's exactly right. And that's what we'll talk about here on this week's show. Like I said, Big Montana will be in here. You won't want to miss him. He'll be in here momentarily. But I tweeted this earlier today that this could be one of our most, I shouldn't say emotional shows, but losing brings out, I always say, the best in people. And when I mean best, like a lot of opinions, a lot of emotions. And over the last week and a half, Tennessee has lost 2 out of 3 and didn't play well in the one win they had, but found a way to win. And it has really stirred up the fan base. I guess you could say that, right, Harb?
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. You're starting to see some of the idiots of the fan base start blabbering a little bit more. But you're also starting to see some of the more intelligent fans in the fan base start to kind of dip into the stupidity side. So, yeah, when you play bad 3 games in a row, like you said before this or around the start of the season or whatever it was, it starts to be concerning. But let's pump the brakes. It's still February. You know, let's just look at it with clear eyes.
Well, and we'll get into this a little later, especially when Big Montana joins us. But I've said all year that, hey, you lose 1, whatever. You lose 2, maybe slight concern. You lose 3 in a row and don't play well in 3 straight games. That's when you start to worry a little bit. And like I said, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but like there's a lot of times we lose 1 game. Here we go again. And then we bounce right back. And I thought that's what happened after last Saturday, even though we didn't play really well against Auburn. We found a way to win. And I'm like, all right, they lost 1. They beat a tough Auburn team in a grinded out game. And then they came back last night. And we'll talk about in a minute. I didn't think they played bad. They just lost because of some breakdowns that we'll get into. But yeah, when you get to 3 games in a row and things are going the way they are right now, it's time for a little concern. I don't want to say panic because every team in college basketball, for the most part, has had one of these stretches this year. I mean, you could say Purdue hasn't and Houston, but who else would you say hasn't had this little mini stretch where they've not played well? I mean, Kansas is going through one right now, Kentucky, Arizona.
You could also throw Alabama in that category with Purdue and Houston, but they also got waxed in the SEC Big 12 challenge. But they also bounced back by beating Vandy by 1,000,000. So kind of got that taste out of their mouth. But yeah, it's like you said, stuff like this is going to happen. And I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd rather it happen now than 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, and that's what I have had several interactions on Twitter today with some folks. And we got 1 question from a fan, so we'll answer that here later on. A shout out to that fan, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, there's been a lot of that just overreaction type stuff going on, but we'll dig into all that. So I guess what we'll do here, Harb, is we'll start back since we recorded last week. Tennessee beat Auburn Saturday and then obviously lost to Vanderbilt on Wednesday night. So the Auburn game, did you get to watch it?
Yes, I watched. I was at work, but we didn't have a whole lot going on, so I got to watch the majority of it.
Okay, so I only saw the last 15-ish minutes of the second half. So I didn't go back and watch the whole game. Apparently, I didn't miss much. Both teams shot just god awful. Let's look at some of the stats real quick. I've got them pulled up here. First half for, let's see, this is Auburn. They were 6 of 26 from the field total, 1 of 11 from 3-point range. In the second half, they were 7 of 29 from the field, 2 of 16 from 3-point range. So total numbers, Auburn was 13 of 55, 23.6% from the field, 3 of 27, 11.1% from 3-point range. I know Tennessee's really good defensively, and we are the best 3-point defensive team in the country. That's god awful. I mean, that's just, and what I saw in the second half from Auburn, they were jacking up some of the dumbest shots, but that's Bruce Pearl's teams. For those Bruce Pearl apologists out there and worshipers, he is not the offensive genius that you all think. He had better offenses here than he does. He's totally changed. I feel like he's totally changed his ways since he's got to Auburn. Here he had post players and he had a good mix of inside out running that flex offense. He also had Chris Lofton. That didn't hurt, but he also won a lot after Chris Lofton. But it feels like over the last 2 or 3 years, all his teams do are just jack up 3-pointers. Like, I saw them play in Greenville, South Carolina in the first and second round last year. And that team was so poorly coached last year. I know they were really good, but they who was their big player last year? Davis, is that his name?
Walker Kessler.
Well, then they had the other guy, Jabari something.
Oh, Jabari
Smith. They just did not utilize him the way he should have been. But anyways, just let me read UT shooting statistics. They weren't much better. Tennessee in the first half, 10 of 34 from the field, 29.4%, 1 of 9 from 3. In the second half, they were 7 of 29 from the field, 1 of 12 from 3. So a total of 17 of 63 from the field, 2 of 21 from 3-point range. I mean, Big Montana likes to say on here all the time, live by the 3, die by the 3. I mean, Tennessee shot 21 threes. They shot 63 total shots. So they were what? 15 of 42 from 2-point range.
That's pitiful.
That's even worse than going 2 for 21 from 3 in my book.
Yeah. My knee-jerk reaction was after that game concluded, it looked like it was a 9 a.m. game in Carter Middle School on a Saturday morning with Mike Dowling versus Tyler Julian in the 10U age bracket. That's what it looked like.
Yep.
No offense to
very similar.
No offense to Dowling or Julian. They're very good.
Tyler, speaking of Tyler, we're going to hang a banner for Tyler the last week of the season, the all-time winningest coach in Carter youth basketball history. We're going to hang it in the middle school.
Congratulations to Coach Julian.
Right next to the county championship banners.
Love that. Love that.
I really want to do it so bad. Like, just go have a banner made and just hang it up. Not even ask the school's permission. Just do it. Because it's probably true. But anyway, sorry. Back to your point.
No, you're good. That's pretty much all I had. The defense looked good, but also Auburn helped our defense. From what I saw, we did not let them get much of anything inside, if anything. And they were taking late shot clock prayers that didn't go in.
Yeah.
On our end of the court, I think we were actually, as crazy as it sounds, by scoring 46 points, the offense didn't look terrible. Like, we were getting good looks. Like, ball movement was normal. They just weren't going in. It was just the whole team went cold at the same time. But Triple J put us on his back and said, we ain't losing this game. I think he finished with 15 and 14. I think that was.
Yes, yeah, he had a double-double. Yes, he was. Let me fact check you here in real time. He was 32 minutes, 15 points, 14 boards. There you go, Harbin. Fact
There we
check
go.
confirmed.
It is easy to get double digit rebounds when there's 300 missed shots in a single game, though.
I
will say
agree with you. Watching that the second half, I didn't go, like I said, I didn't go back and watch the first half. They had some good looks. They just one person, and I'm gonna single out two people as we go along here, but one of them's Triple J, and I know he had a good day. He was still 5 of 12 from the field, which isn't terrible.
Well,
but
for our shooting numbers that day, that's lighting it up.
But there was one, it was right after I turned it on. He had a wide open 15-footer. Whatever the play was they ran that got him open was great. He barely grazed the rim. And then I noticed last night he really struggled at Vandy. I don't have his stats right in front of me, and we'll get to the Vandy game, but you're right. It's like this whole team right now, since they beat Texas, ever since then, for the past 3 games, they've been, which last night was better. Don't get me wrong. Last night was better. There's just something not clicking right now with these guys. And it's not one single thing every game, but the Florida game, they played poor defense, I thought. They didn't play well defensively. The Auburn game, it was obvious. We just read it. They couldn't shoot the basketball. And that happens from time to time in basketball, in any level.
Yeah.
I saw it the other night. Carter was playing Campbell County, and they, in the second half, they scored like 5 points in the third quarter. They just could not score. They were up like 38 to, they were up 36-30 at halftime, and then they were down like 7 going into the fourth quarter, something crazy like that. But it just happens. I mean, you go into these shooting slumps, and then last night it was the defense again, which is crazy to me. I mean, they really could not stop Vandy from the 3-point line. It was our worst night defensively from the 3-point line.
Yeah, but devil's advocate, I didn't intentionally watch the whole game, but the stretches that I did get to watch, man, half the threes that Vandy hit, I mean, looked like they were contested. They were just making shots. I mean, obviously the last one was wide open, but that's just how it looked. Vandy was just making shots from what I saw. If that's wrong as far as the whole 40 minutes go, please correct me. But
no, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
One person I said Triple J, and we'll talk about him more as we go on, but the stats are going to say that he hasn't played bad, but Kamwa played his best game of his career against Texas. I think we can agree. I don't think I kept saying, I said before that game to Thomas at the arena, I was like, we need Kamwa to step up, not against just the South Carolinas and the Georgias and the Western Carolina Catamounts. We need him to play against Texas, Kentucky, Alabama, those teams. And he did that night. Looking at his stats, I was writing this down before we started recording. Against Florida, he had 11 points, but he was 4 of 13 from the field. I don't know what to think of that. Auburn game, he had 9 points. He was 4 of 16 from the field. So there he's 8 of 29 in 2 games.
Did you say Triple J or Kamwa?
This is Kamwa.
Okay.
Against Vandy last night, he had 10 points. I think 4 of those were on dunks. He was 5 of 8, but he only played 22 minutes. Against Auburn, he only played 21 minutes. Against Florida, he played 31. His minutes have decreased since that Texas game, and I really thought he had turned a corner. And I said the stats are going to sound like he didn't play bad. He's not turned that corner and built on that breakout game like I thought he was. And it's hurting Tennessee. We've talked about this a lot on the show. I don't know what the definition of a dominant big man is anymore, but we don't have that presence down low that we can go to for whatever reason. I keep thinking it's going to be Kamwa. I've said all year I like Adu, but he's not gotten any better this year as it's gone along. He had a really good game earlier in the year. Can't remember who it was against, maybe Kansas or somebody, but he's just kind of just been out there. Not saying he's hurting the team, but he's not really stepping up and helping. We are joined now live from the man cave. Big Montana's here.
How are you guys?
Welcome to
man.
the party.
I had a really good day today. But go ahead.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I did.
How good? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good was your day?
I mean, it's like a 7.5. I think that's pretty damn good, honestly.
Pretty good. It's above.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything. It was just a good day, man.
That's above average. So,
well, yeah, 7.5 is way above average for me, but yeah.
Well, I had probably a 3 or a 4. So,
well, I hate that for you.
a lot of stuff going on at work, but I digress.
Bowling, how was your day today?
Man, it was actually nice. A lot warmer outside. I had a
little windy.
Little windy, yeah, it was windy. I had a good work meeting tonight, and that's why I was late. I had to get home and get ready for you guys, man. I'm glad everybody's doing good.
That's what she said.
Heard that.
So before you joined us, Big Montana, we were talking about the Auburn game last Saturday. Tennessee won by 3, 46-43. We hadn't got to the controversial non-foul there at the end of the game, but quickly, what was your thoughts on that game last Saturday? It was ugly.
It was very ugly. I was proud they got the win. I mean, anytime you're playing a team like Auburn, who, in years past, and, I think they're going to make the tournament this year. You could say they're a contender for whatever. They've proven that. I'll be honest with you, I fell asleep twice in the second half. I sat here and watched it, and I woke myself up twice thinking, golly, what is going on? And the thing about it is I woke myself up twice, and the score was like within 4 points of when I fell asleep, but the time was like 8 minutes later. So, whatever. I kind of chalked that one up to just life playing basketball, but it seems to keep rolling in the same direction. It was nice to send Bruce out of here. I guess we'll talk about the controversial last-minute call, either now or in the upcoming minute.
I was about to get to that. I was really hoping Day would be here tonight because he and I kind of went back and forth on it, and I see both sides of it. But
yeah,
what y'all think about it?
I personally think that it was a foul. I mean, I think I think he did shoot into. I don't know who the defender was. I can't remember.
Kamwa.
Okay, I think he did shoot in, and I think he did initiate contact. But I also think that Kamwa, took his landing zone too, to an extent, and you can't do that. Granted, whatever. I think the referees just didn't want to have an overtime game that was so shitty, to be honest with you. So they're like, let's just pull the trigger. It's over with.
Kind of like a junior pro game. It's like 12 to 10. Let's not go to overtime.
It's immersive. Yeah, let's quit calling walks and double dribbles and fouls in the paint. It was almost like a mercy kill. Thank God, right? Yeah, it was a win in TBA, which it was a good thing. But I'll let you guys talk more about it.
What do you think, Harbin?
I'm kind of like you. I can see both sides. I guess I'm bringing some bias into this, but I think it was a good no call just because both players kind of fed into it. Like Kamwa did scoot into his landing zone, but old boy did sling his legs out, flop like a fish on a deck. So yeah, both players were kind of at fault. I think I said this to y'all on Saturday, but if that play is like at the end of the shot clock sometime in the first half, they call it. Like they call it in the first half. But I think with the game on the line, it's a good no call, and I think that's kind of how they looked at it.
Yeah, I can see that. I thought
the officials would never admit that, but that's true.
I personally thought it was a foul, and my reasoning was if you watch the video, Kamwa is moving his body is moving toward Wendell Green Jr. And he gives him nowhere to land. I know Day-Day's point too. I understand he flopped. It was one of the first plays I saw when I got home was the flop on the 3 that they called when Ziegler was defending him. But I felt like it was a foul. But I also do agree it was a good no call because you don't want to see that happen at the end of the game. If you look at it, Comwa did everything right except he took a step forward while Wendell Green was in the air. It wasn't on the shot.
It may have been a makeup call from the Vescovi incident 3 plays before too.
Yeah, that's true.
He got pushed out of bounds. So
yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, that was bad. You go back and watch the replay. I mean, he literally, that guy shoved him out of bounds.
Yeah, so suck it.
Which I wasn't listening to the commentary. I was at work and we didn't have the sound on. But I was sitting there like, are they really just not going to call anything on that? Like,
oh, they chalked it up to great defense, Harbin, on TV.
Well,
just great.
That's
suffocating
because it was on ESPN. So.
True. But every talking head basketball, I watched several highlight packages that came on Saturday night. I was watching Duke, North Carolina. Tried to watch Gonzaga and St. Mary's, and I passed out on the couch. But saw the highlight several times, and every time, all of them, it was a foul. I can't believe they didn't call it. That was a foul.
Yeah.
I think it was a foul, and I'm glad we finally got the right end of one of these. But more times likely than not, we don't get that. But if you look back on it, I see why they didn't call it. One, Wendell Green and Auburn flopped several times during the game. And 2, it was at the end of the game, and you don't want to see that stuff decide a game, in my opinion. And I've refereed not at that level, but more at the youth level. And I don't want stuff like that to – now, if it's a foul, it's a foul at any time. And any referee will say that, but you just don't want to see that decided like that. But I don't know. If they would have called the foul, I would have agreed with it, but I'm glad they didn't. So it is what it is. So Tennessee won the game against Auburn, obviously, 46-43. Reminded me a lot of the Tennessee-Kentucky game in 99 at Rupp Arena when we won, I think, 48-47. Tough night, but we won. So we came back last night, back and forth battle. I did not get to watch it live. I had to go back and watch the replay of it. I got to listen to the last 3 minutes on the radio with Bob and Bert. And Bob and Bert kept going on and on. This was one of the most well-played basketball games all year. And I'm like, these guys have got to be kidding me. Tennessee's struggling with a 4-6 coming into the game. Vandy team in the SEC. I will say Vandy's better this year. They are improved slightly, but they're still not very good. But they kept going on and on and on about how great this game was and how well played it was on both sides. Well, I went back and watched the game. They weren't wrong. I thought it was a pretty clean game, pretty well played on both sides. You can say what you will about what Tennessee did wrong, which was a lot of things, especially there at the end on the defensive end. But I thought, give it up to Vandy, man. They made a bunch of shots last night. It was kind of crazy. Robbins made 3 3-pointers. He'd made 6 all year. Are you kidding me? And 2 of them were pretty tough shots. I mean, sometimes, like Pedro Martinez said, sometimes you just got to tip your hat and call him your daddy. But I thought it was a pretty well-played game on both ends. It was crazy to me that Vandy went 39-plus minutes and only had 2 fouls in the second half and 8 – well, let me rephrase it. 2 fouls in the second half in 19-plus minutes. And in 39-plus minutes, they only had 8 total fouls in the game, which was crazy to me because Tennessee tried to go inside quite a bit last night. I don't want to say the officiating was bad. I didn't think it was, but it's just crazy to me in today's basketball world that Vandy only had 8 total team fouls that late in the game.
Yeah, that is wild.
So I thought just some notes I made really quick, and then we'll get to you guys. I thought the offense was better last night, and Tennessee shot 43% from the field, 37.5% from 3-point range. Oh shoot. Let's see where I'm missing something here. Only 9 turnovers, which is pretty good. So I just thought Tennessee, they out-rebounded Vandy. I just thought Tennessee played a lot better than I thought it was a good bounce-back game offensively, even though they only scored 65 points. But I thought they played better offensively, but I thought the defense was a little bit of a letdown because we're the best 3-point defensive team in the country, and we gave up 10 threes. And like you said, they just made some shots. Middle breakdowns late in the game really cost Tennessee, which we'll get into. The foul by Waka on the 3-point shot, Phillips not shooting a layup or the dunk, whatever you want to call it, and Vescovi missing the front end of a 1-and-1. Those things cost you games, and those 3 things cost Tennessee last night big time. So what do y'all think?
I can handle us losing. Like, Vandy played well enough last night to win that ball game. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from them, but the mental breakdowns and the mental errors that are the reasoning that you lost, that drives me up a wall because those things are so easily avoided. And a lot of people are going to say it starts at the top. All the other people are going to say, well, hell, the coach ain't out there dribbling, whatever. I don't know where I stand on that, just to be honest with you. But with these 2 games, you can look at these last 2 games one way or another. You can look at them as we were 1 play away from losing 3 straight, or we were 1 play away from saying, wow, our offense looked really good and we gritted one out on the road and we just had that Florida loss in there and everybody could have lived with that. So I don't know how I stand on it, but if Phillips just dunks that ball, we're up 4 with 8 seconds left, and it is so hard to lose at that point.
You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
Vandy has to go down and at least hit a 2. And
then
then we got to throw the ball in. They've either got to get a steal or foul us. There's a lot has to happen at that point for them to come back.
And then after that, okay, whatever. Like, we still have the ball. They got to burn more time, foul us, cool, whatever. You get the ball into your senior leader or one of the 2 leaders, and you're like, okay, he's our best shooter. We're golden. We're your best shooter and probably best player on the team misses front end of a 1-and-1. And then with 4 seconds left, you're down 2. I mean, you're up 2. And your senior defensive leader, or not defensive leader, but your senior leader, leaves his man in the corner to triple team a guy that had virtually no shot and leave the guy open, wide ass open for a game winner. That's why I'm pissed. Like, so many mental errors. Like, we could have easily won that game and we'd be kind of happy-go-lucky right now. But mental breakdowns, we piss away a game to Vandy of all people. Our 3 SEC losses are Kentucky, Florida, and Vandy, which that burns my absolute ass to no end. I don't know. It's frustrating, but like I kind of said earlier, it's not the end of the world. But if this goes on for a couple more games, if we don't bounce back, yeah, it might be time to hit the panic button.
Go ahead, Big Montana.
I made some notes.
Oh, he's got notes, Harbin.
Wow. I went off the dome.
We shot 3 free throws the entire game, right?
Yes.
I honestly think that that's just not having a game plan of being aggressive. I understand that the clang and bang style of offense is not how basketball was intended to be played. Basketball was intended to be played with grace and eloquent and style and beauty. But whenever you have guys that are 7'2" and 280 pounds, and aggression builds in, and men are being men, it's going to get pretty nasty. I do think that's something that Tennessee definitely lacks. I will say that Euros has showed signs of it. I think Ziegler has shown signs of it. But it's not their game in and game out. I don't even know if Euros plays for Tennessee anymore. Another thing, I do understand that the foul calls last night were kind of one-sided. But you're not going to get fouls if you don't attack the rim. I know that we did work the ball in a little bit last night. Was saying that the Rick Barnes offense is pass it around the perimeter, have your big men outside trying to feed the post, causing careless takeovers or turnovers. Live and die by the three. It's just what Rick Barnes is. Fantastic program builder, excellent caretaker.
I disagree with the live by the three, die by the three. They're not doing that.
I think it's the 3-point basket first, 2-point basket second.
We missed 43 2-point shots against Auburn. 43 2-point shots.
Richard Petty. Talking about in general, the whole season.
I mean, at the start of the year, I would agree with you. Yes, right now I don't, because everybody shoots that many threes in a game.
Going off a couple of points you just made, piggybacking, if you will.
Oh, kinky.
It goes back to 2 points that we made around the very beginning of the season. One, do we have depth? Yes. Do we have really any separation at the top, like a go-getter? No, we don't. And also, I've been screaming this all year. We just can't get to the foul line. Like, we don't have a guy that will put your shoulder. We don't have a guy that can put their shoulder in somebody's chest and go get 2 free throws. You're like you said, Euros has showed that a little bit. I think Phillips is leading us in free throws. Like, he'll go in there and he'll get fouled every once in a while. But as a whole, like, we go in there and don't look for contact. Like, look at the Kentucky game, for an example. All those missed layups. We were scared of contact that never came. And that's another thing that kind of irritates hell out of me. Like, go in there and look for some contact. Like, if you can't make a free throw or two, then get off the damn court. To summarize, like, we've struggled getting to the free throw line all year. And it kind of goes back to what Big Montana said. We don't our primary thing is to not get inside and work your way out, which I kind of think is how basketball should be played. We don't do that. And I think it really boils down to this team ain't got no damn dogs, man. Like, it don't. You could maybe say we have one in Ziegler, but there's games where he no-shows too, man. Like,
last night he had 5 points. So, I mean,
that's what I was telling Harbin earlier. I'm glad you brought him up. I had this conversation with some others that have said something to the effect of Ziegler is the guy that stirs the drink for this team. I think he is. I mean, when he's playing really well, let's look at his last 3 games. Florida, he was 6 of 19 from the field. Auburn, 0 of 10. Vandy, 2 of 7. So the last 3 games, just shooting. I'm not talking about defense, assists, anything like that. He's 8 of 36 from the field. Your point guard on any team cannot go 8 of 36 and y'all expect to be successful. That's one of the problems with this team offensively right now.
And in that same stretch, your senior big man, who's supposed to be a leader, is 8 of 27. If you have a big man that you believe you can go to and get a bucket is 8 of 27 in a pretty important 3-game stretch, that's not good. It's not good at all. Like, if you have a big man, I forgot what game you said it was. I think it was the Auburn game or maybe the Florida game. You got a big man going 4 of 16. Like, if Vescovi or Ziegler do that, trying to shoot themselves out of a slump, you can live with that. But you got a damn 6'11" big dude shooting 4 of 16.
Yeah, Kamwa was 4 of 16 against Auburn, 4 of 13 against Florida.
Yeah, that's just not good.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he stands 7 feet away from the basket on 80% of the possessions.
So where
And
speaking of free throws, real quick, where do you? We talked about this a few weeks ago, and I found a different page to look at. Where do you think Tennessee is nationally in? Let me see. This is free throw attempts per game.
I'm gonna go
Now,
with
remember, there's 300 and something teams in Division I college basketball.
I'm gonna go with 147th.
It's a pretty good guess. What do you think, Big Montana?
I would say, 160.
That's even better. Hot. They are
Hmm.
tied with Louisville and USC
Oh, great.
Upstate. USC Upstate from Spartanburg. I pass it every time I go to my uncle's at number 165. So in 24 games, Tennessee has attempted 316 free throw. Sorry, 433 attempts. They've made 316. We're averaging 18 free throws per game. The leader in America. And don't get this. This is not why Tennessee's struggling. Tennessee was playing well without shooting a lot of free throws. I don't. Who in the world is this team? The University of Texas Rio Grande Valley is. Oh shoot, I lost it. They're number one in America. Let me pull it back up. Sorry,
They're a powerhouse. Have you not heard about them?
They made that movie about them, right?
I don't know which movie.
What Glory Road? That was Texas El Paso.
Yeah, UTEP.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
By the way, while
Texas
I'm
Western, sorry, which is UTEP now. Which is UTEP now. So how many free throws do you think the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley shoots per game?
25.
26. So we're 8 free throws per game behind Rio Grande Valley of Texas. Texas A&M's number 2. So
here's the deal. Last night, so Vanderbilt shot 8 of 12, but they hit 8. That's 16 points. Our leading scorer had 14 points. We lost by 1. We had 4 points from free throws.
That's just 8. That's just 8 points. You only get 1 for a free throw.
I'm sorry. 8 points. I'm sorry.
Well, Big Montana's doing that Carter math.
Yeah. But anyway, 8 points.
Go Hornets.
Still, 8 points in a ball game, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially whenever it's,
They had a 5-point advantage on us.
8, yeah, exactly. Tell me 5 points don't matter in the gambling world.
But it matters a ton. Trust me. While I'm a little hot, I'm gonna give my last leg of my rant right now. And this is semi-directed at you, Nease. Not directly you, but
okay.
You are included in this.
Okay. Let me have it.
At some point about a month ago, there's this thing going around on Twitterverse and whatnot saying that analytics say that this is the best Tennessee team ever. And you love to throw out them net rankings. Don't look at the AP poll. Look at the net rankings, blah, blah, blah. F you and F your analytics. There is not a chance in hell that this is the best Tennessee team of all time. I don't care. Hey, listen, I love to say men.
Did you read my note? Did you read my notes I wrote today?
No, I just see you always talking about it. Listen, I love to say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But there are some gray areas when you're talking about numbers. I understand we play lockdown defense, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You can't watch those last 3 games and still preach that damn analytic bullshit. There's no way. Like, that 2018-2019 team would beat this team by 30.
Oh, I don't think they would beat them by 30, but I think they would beat
29.
Them. There was somebody had a poll. Somebody had a poll up a couple of weeks ago. Would that team beat this team? And I voted for that team, for Admiral and Bowden and Schofield and all them.
Yeah.
I just think that team's made up better.
Had dogs.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think I necessarily said this is the best team ever, but analytics
didn't say that.
But some people did. and some people do. I thought they still had some. I mean, offensively in Ken Palm, which I look at a lot, adjusted offense, they were nowhere near the top. They've always been hovering between 25 and 50 all year long. Now they're 83. They've plummeted in the last 3 games. Are they better than that 2018-19 team? Absolutely not. They're not. Even from a talent standpoint, they're not. They would not beat them. In a 7-game series, they may win a couple times. But I think that team wins 4 out of 6, something like that. But if you look at the ratings, the numbers, and it's changed the last 3 weeks, I'll admit. But before this stretch, they were one of the top 5 teams, maybe top 3 teams analytically in the country by the numbers. Defensively, their strength of schedule, their most everything in here. I don't have it right in front of me, but most everything in here. I mean, they were ranked 1 in Ken Palm. They've been hovering between 1 and 2 all year. They've been 1 and 2 in net ranking all year long. And they're still pretty high, even after that loss last night. But you can't. Sometimes you gotta see it. And right now, we're not seeing it from Tennessee. They're not playing well.
This team is failing the eye test.
I backpedaled on a tweet on a tweet last night directed at Nease, and I backed up because I wanted him to get some sleep because I know he had a hard day with the city helping kids play and adults play. I was thinking about it. I was like, he made the comment that this wasn't the same Tennessee team 3 weeks ago, and I do believe that. But we've shown all year long. We beat a Kansas team who is arguably not that great. We beat a Texas team that don't know what they are yet. They're with an intern coach. We beat USC in the Atlantis tournament or whatever tournament that was. Don't really know what they are. But I do know that we did lose to a Kentucky team that's probably their worst team in 3 or 4 years. We lost to a Florida team with a brand new coach who we should have dog walked, and we should have beat Vanderbilt last night. We've lost to every single rival we have in basketball this year. And that's why fans are in an uproar, because Tennessee cares about beating Vanderbilt, Florida, Kentucky, and Memphis. Those are the 4 teams that we consider to be rivals in the regular season. I know we don't play Memphis anymore, but, Orange Jackets be damned and all that stuff. But we're not getting our money's worth right now, I don't feel like. And I understand that, we beat the piss out of South Carolina. We beat the piss out of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and we're doing all this other stuff. But I think we're supposed to. Football coaches get paid here to beat Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. You're supposed to beat everybody else. Well, this year and I understand Rick Barnes has had great records against the rest of against Kentucky, Florida, and Vanderbilt. But I think that's been the issue this year. If we lost to Georgia and we beat Kentucky and Florida and we lost to Vanderbilt last night, I think you're having a different conversation. And I think in the back of everybody's mind, the second round Rick thing is still here. We're just delaying the inevitable. We know what's going to happen. Pretty decent regular season. We're going to play Colgate and then play, whoever in the second round. And I think that's why the sky is falling for so many people. I mean, listen, Rick Barnes is our guy. We're not getting rid of Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes is going to walk away from Tennessee whenever Rick Barnes is ready to walk away from Tennessee. We're not firing the guy. But can he do more and be better and these teams be better? That answer is correct too. And I don't think the players are holding up their end of the bargain. I don't think Rick's holding up his end of the bargain. Something's not working. Great coaches have to change what they do. And a couple of years ago, Rick did change. He did change his coaching style, but Nick Saban has changed his coaching style 5 times since he's been at Alabama. Not saying, if we go on this year and we get put out the championship game, SEC tournament, or the game before, and we get bounced in the round of 32. Listen, it's all good. Not a big deal. This is football school. Be back next year, have a chance to do something else. But, it hurts when you're sitting there at number 2 ranking and you're going and playing a school that's, hey, we hate Florida. Like, you're supposed to beat these guys. You're a Tennessee guy. Florida is public enemy number 1. And you go down there and play like shit. You play undisciplined basketball. And, and I don't know if these guys are upset that the fans have not gotten behind them since they've been losing or not. But you know what? Grow up. Get over it. Start winning basketball games.
It's hard to argue those points.
So it's funny you said that, Big Montana, because I had this conversation with somebody today. We were just chatting. I don't know how to say it. I feel like, and I guess this is going to sound, I tweeted this. I'm going to have a lot of unpopular opinions, but we live in a what have you done for me lately world. Tennessee's coming off a 2022 SEC tournament championship. Fantastic season. I know we lost in the second round to Michigan in the NCAA tournament. Tennessee's currently 19-5 overall. And this, I was going to read this earlier, and I actually messed up. I thought it said 83. We're 63 in adjusted offense, by the way, going back. But Tennessee's 19-5. We're number 3 in the net rankings, Harbin. Number 4 in Ken Palm, which, like it or not, the NCAA uses those things to put teams into the tournament and place them. But when you hear like what Big Montana just said, and he's not the only one saying that. If you get on social media, it's the same thing from a lot of Tennessee fans. And it's almost like we've forgotten that Tennessee's 19-5, and they beat Kansas. They beat Texas. They played Arizona to the wire. And I guess it is, like he said, because we lost to Florida and Vandy and Kentucky. Are those the worst teams in school history down at those places? Absolutely not. But there's not their best by any means. But I wrote this to ask you all. Just a few weeks ago, Tennessee was ranked number 2, was beating teams by double digits. A lot of Tennessee fans seem, if you read Twitter last night, of course, Twitter, like we said, is not real life. There was a lot of, I'm done. When's baseball? Is it baseball season yet? This is over.
That's stupid. That's the idiocy that I was talking about earlier.
Guys, Tennessee is 19-5. You know who else is 19-5? Kansas. Let's see who else here. Creighton, 16-8. St. Mary's, 21-4. UConn, who's ranked below us in the polls, but not in Ken Palm. They're 6. They're 19-6. UCLA, 19-4. Tennessee's here at 19-5. I'm just saying, like, it's almost like those wins have just been washed away by 2 or 3. I don't consider the Kentucky loss a bad loss. Y'all might disagree. I don't. I know they're not great.
I don't think it's a bad loss. I think it was an important win for Tennessee to have this year.
It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss if you don't beat them in Rupp.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I agree with that.
0-2, the one at home hurts way worse, in my opinion.
Because you need to. My philosophy has always been win every game at home, and then if you split on the road, then whatever. Go 4-4 on the road or whatever it may be. But they split with Vandy. We forgot we beat Vandy a few weeks ago. Right. I don't think we play Florida again, so we can't make up that one unless we play them in the tournament. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Tennessee's lost 2 out of 3. Okay. Kansas lost 6 games last year and won the national title. Is it really? That's what I'm going to label this show. Is it time to worry or something to that effect? It's not panic time, but if you listen to people, and it is like Bowling said, we're not getting our money's worth. We're 19-5. We're 19-5.
Here's my thing. Multiple things can be true at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
That's why I said that at the end.
So Are we allowed to be pissed off right now with this 3-game stretch? Absolutely.
Yes.
Are we allowed to criticize the coaching and the on-court play? Yes.
Yes.
However, can we also look at the bigger picture and say, man, we've got some pretty damn good wins so far, and it's only February? Yes. And can you also do all these things without being an absolute moron and saying, fire Rick Barnes, blah, blah, blah?
Now, I will say, I did not see any of that last night.
No,
I just saw people like, I'm tired of this. I
I
ain't watching them no more.
I turned my damn phone off.
Come
It
on.
was-
I saw a lot of
it was ridiculous. Listen, like you can criticize and you can critique and you can be pissed. That's fine. But you can also still look at the bigger picture and be like, look, more than likely, we're going to be around that number 10 spot, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. I don't know. Because in my opinion, there's 3 elite teams in the country this year, maybe just 2. It's Purdue and Alabama.
There you go.
And then you might be able to throw Houston in there, maybe. But outside of that, 3 to 15-ish are all pretty much the same damn teams.
It's a free-for-all.
Really?
I agree with that. And I'll say this too.
Like, you could argue that we're the 4th best team in the country or number 15, and I probably won't tell you you're wrong either way for any of those slots.
I don't disagree with that.
I just think it's all hodgepodge.
I'll say this too. If we got 7 games left, I think Tennessee needs to shoot to be 5-2 these last 7 games. They play Bama, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Auburn, and somebody else.
I think we got Carolina in there somewhere.
Yeah, South Carolina's in there. So he needs to go 5-2 at least to finish the season at what, 23-7? Right.
Fine.
It'd be 24.
I'm sorry, 24.
24-7 going to the SEC tournament.
Going to the SEC tournament. If he wins the SEC tournament again, everything's fixed.
Which would if you win 5 more conference games, that would put you at 13 conference wins, which I think you won, was it 14 or last year? I think we were 14-4.
Or remember the preseason show? We all said that we would win somewhere between 13 and 14 or 15 SEC games. So I mean,
this whole thing is about when you get hot too. So if we go down to, where is the SEC tournament this year? Tampa?
Back
Atlanta?
in Nashville, thank God.
Nashville. We go to Nashville and win that damn thing, and we ought to. If it's in Nashville, we're gonna have tons of fans there. It's home court advantage. We should be in the championship game playing Alabama or whoever. And if you go to March Madness and you make the Sweet 16, everything's fixed. It's fine. The ceiling's back in place. It's not that big of a deal. But you're right. It's a what have you done for me lately type thing. But if this was football, we'd be doing the same shit. When you're a coach at UT, you're paid to beat Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. And if you beat everybody else, you lose to those 3 schools, and you go 9-3 or whatever the record has to be for that to happen, people are going to bitch because they want to see Tennessee beat Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. Not always consecutively in the same year. It'd be great, but win 2 of 3, 1 of 3. That's where we need to be. So that's why a lot of people are pissed off right now, because we live to talk about Kentucky. We live to Gator Chomp as people leave the court. We live to call somebody little brother in Peabody and all this stuff. That's what Tennessee fans do.
That's facts. One thing that I would like to point out, I don't know if this is bad, if it's good. I'm just going to state it as a general observation. This ball team plays to their competition.
I think so too. And I think a lot of it has to do with, if Vescovi is hot, the entire team plays hot. But if he's not, we don't have anybody to pick him up. And the guy can't score.
I'll say that he does not look healthy right now. There's something, I don't know if his shoulder's bothering him. He just doesn't look like himself.
Like my thing is, when Bama rolls into town a week from in 6 days, I truly expect us to win that ball game. But the games that concern me is like the damn Vanderbilt's on the road, or the Kentucky game on the road, or the the very mid-level SEC teams is where I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
If you look back to last year, we lost a couple of conference games that we should have very easily won. There was one, I think, against Georgia, not Georgia, but I think it was against Alabama last year. We lost.
Yeah,
we didn't have Triple J. We had a chance to win. If we would have won that game, I think we would have won the SEC, right? Or been close, whatever it was.
I believe so. Yes. I remember early at the. I think didn't we not start the SEC season last year 1-3? Remember we got hammered, just smoked at Kentucky.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like what 101-67 or something like that.
109.
Yeah, it was bad, like 109-67. Let's say that. And the damn ceiling was falling in, like Big Montana said, and we bounced back and went 14-4. We won 13 out of our last whatever. What was that? 13 out of our last 14 games or something like that, which is crazy.
And then ran the table in the tournament.
But I mean, Kennedy Chandler ain't walking through that door. We're going to have to figure this shit out, and they're going to have to figure it out soon, or it's going to be all she wrote.
One thing I wanted to mention is I was telling Burkhart and Cruz this last night. It doesn't matter where Tennessee's at. We never play well in that gym. And I call it a gym because that's exactly what it is. But I'll put this on the screen. I snapshotted this from the game last night. When Tennessee is ranked in the top 10, when they go to Memorial Gym, they're 1-4 all time.
Yep.
The only win was in 2019. Remember that overtime game, 88-83, when Grant Williams hit like 25 free throws? There's your dog.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Weren't you there, Harbin? Or no, that was some other people were there. But look at their losses. 2008, we were ranked number 1, lost. 2000, we were ranked 5th, lost. 1976, we were ranked 9th and lost. 1968, we were ranked 7th and lost. That's all as top 10. This doesn't even count the other games where we were maybe ranked or unranked and went out there. It's just always been like that. I'm not making excuses for that, but we never play good out there. I'm just telling you, that's a fact. One question I had, another question, more than one. We were talking about offense, and this I wanted to lead into a question we got from one of our Twitter followers, a longtime buddy of mine, John Walker. Let me pull it up here because it's kind of his question kind of led into my question. So my question was, Tennessee has dropped, I said 50. They've dropped 30 spots, give or take, offensively in the adjusted offensive rankings the last 3 games. We're down to 63. Can Tennessee advance deep into March or win a title with the number 63 ranked offense? I'll answer my own question, no. John's question to the group was, would playing more in transition help offensively or would it hurt? Means more players are playing for the Vols. However, it is rotation cutting part of the season off. So I kind of think I said that last year. I wish Tennessee would move and push the ball a little bit more. And same goes for this team because it's pretty much the same team. But Tennessee's elite defensively. But can they advance to the Sweet 16, let's say that, or win an SEC title or win an NCAA title with the number 63 ranked offense, which they got time to improve, but can they? Well, I say no.
I'm going to reply to that question with a question. If we start running more, is that going to improve our offense enough to make up for how much our defense will fall off if we start playing a lot faster?
Fair question.
And that's rhetorical. Nobody knows the answer, but that's what you got to look at. Big Montana's got his hand up, so I'll tag him in.
I think he's changing the TV.
Oh, shit. My bad. But yeah, I mean, we're a streaky shooting team. I think getting out and running would obviously lead to more attempts, but I think that would help the shooting woes. Kind of get other teams on their heels. However, when you start moving, I mean, just facts show that your defense isn't going to be as good. I mean, part of the reason our defense is so good is because we spend 25 seconds on the shot clock just passing around the perimeter.
Well, I feel like sometimes too is like Tennessee just takes some bad shots, and if you're taking bad shots, you might as well be running.
Yeah.
If you're taking great shots, you're passing it 5 times on a possession and getting a wide open look, and you miss that. That's one thing, but if we're shooting the ball with 18 seconds left on the shot clock and it's a contested mid-range jumper, not your answer.
One of the biggest thing that bothers me is like if we get a steal at the top of the key and we've got like 2-on-1 or 3-on-2, 90% of the time we pull it out.
Right. Run to the damn rim.
Nothing out of it. Like I don't know the exact numbers. I feel like we force a good amount of turnovers, but I feel like we do not get very many points from turnovers.
Right.
Like, I mean, hell, you can force as many as you want, but if you ain't getting buckets on the other end out of them, hell, it don't matter.
It's basically a rebound.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with kids that are playing scared. I do think we have some talent on this team that has potential to go play professionally somewhere, whether it be overseas, G League, or the NBA. I think these guys are just scared to death of going up there and just getting clobbered and coming down and tearing their damn ACL. I think that is a factor in today's game, that kids they're playing smarter as far as like personally, but like for what they need to be doing, I mean, that kind of sounds bad. They're not laying it all out there, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it is what it is. But you take the greats that have been the greatest at basketball, they're putting their bodies on the line to do things, or flopping if you're LeBron. So,
oh God, here we go. Hey, here's I wanted to talk about this earlier, but I kind of forgot about it. And my boy Big John Reed put this on Twitter earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, but it is a very interesting topic, and I kind of want to see how y'all feel about it. He was pretty much like, I don't really have much concern with the team right now. Like, they'll bounce back. They said one thing I am majorly concerned in is 5 stars looking at Julian Phillips, Jen Springer, Keon Johnson, those guys, and finally realizing that if they want to go make a bucket load of money after college, that this is not the best spot for them. Because look at all this 5-star talent we've brought in.
Yeah.
They're second-round guys, or they got to stay a second year. Like, we're a good team, but like, I don't know how good we are at developing talent.
I think that is a question, but you also have to look at Grant Williams, who is starting or coming off the bench for a NBA title contender. Played in the NBA finals last year. You got Schofield who's playing. You got Bowden, Bowden's playing G League right now and just tearing it up.
Those are also 2- and 3-star guys.
I know.
That just
but
if their way up there,
right?
And they're all 4-year guys too,
right? But if you're a 5-star, you got to say, well, I'm in a lot better position than those guys were, so I should be able to do the same thing. I mean, like, thing about it is that, man, like, being a professional athlete is very rare. I mean, you got a better shot at doing a lot of things in life than being a professional athlete. And getting a college scholarship to a D1 school is a rarity. Making it to the next level is even more rare. So it comes down to you're born with it or you're not, to be honest with you. And hard work does pay off, but a lot of this stuff's God given. If you're 7 foot tall, 280 pounds, and can run a 4.40, a lot of that was genetic.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I guess I was just talking about how, like, you look at let's say the Kansases or the Villanova.
Oh, right, yeah.
with Villanova's, like their 5 stars always pan out and are all stars in the league 2-3 years out of college. You know,
Yeah.
we have never really had that out of a 5-star. Like Kennedy Chandler was probably our best 5-star that was here. I don't know what Tobias Harris was. Was he a 5-star?
Yes, he was
Okay.
the best that we've had.
Right. Yeah. Especially as far as professional career goes. But yeah, I mean, outside of like Tobias Harris, and the jury's still out on Kennedy Chandler and Springer and Johnson, which I'd say right as of right now, Chandler's ahead of them in that category. But
I will say this.
Just kind of an interesting conversation to have.
I will say this, but if you look at the 2 powerhouse schools in college basketball traditionally, it's Duke and UNC. A lot of guys that went to Duke, UNC, they stayed 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they, and until very recently, and it is a thing. I mean, it's part of the game. Until recently, the one and done wasn't really talked about that much. Guys would stay 2 or 3 years, or they wouldn't even come at all. They'd go straight to the league. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and those guys are just 1 in 10 million or more. But I think the kids that are smart are letting themselves develop. And, the older you get, these guys are still growing in college. Like they're freaks in nature. If you're 19, 20 years old and you're still growing, like getting taller, I mean, that's just weird to me. Most guys quit growing at 16 years old, 17. So it's kind of an anomaly. But I think that Tennessee players get the same opportunities as players at Kansas and UNC and Duke. And, we're going to these tournaments, and we're going to Atlantis, and we're going to the tournament at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, we're getting all these, we're getting all the big games. We're ranked top 10 nationally. Dick Vitale's talking about us. I mean, we're getting all kinds of publicity from, Barstool Sports and, Twitter and ESPN. So, Tennessee's having those same opportunities as these other schools are. We're having the SEC versus the Big 10, Big 12, whatever it is, challenges. We're on ESPN. We're on SEC Network. We're on, we're there every Saturday, Tuesday night matchups. So it's not like we're getting, no recognition. Vanderbilt beat us last night. It was a big time story on SportsCenter. Vanderbilt put out Tennessee. They stormed the court. So that's got to mean something. And we give Rick Barnes a hard time, but he has really built this program into something that, it's a big deal to beat us now, because we're beating pretty much anybody that we want to, for the most part. We're playing Arizona every year. We're playing, Kansas. We're playing these big time teams in the regular season, and I personally think that basketball, they need to do more. I understand that these little peon programs have to play games, but I wish we did play more big time games at the beginning of the season, just to see where we are earlier on. I mean, I don't really care about watching USC Upstate and all that crap. I mean, I know you got to play a few, but be awesome to play, 4 or 5 more top 25 teams, and everybody play that many. But I get it.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I was like, and trust me, like I'm not at all questioning where our basketball program is right now. I think if you ask anybody, we like over the span of the last 6-7 years, we were a top 10 basketball program in the country. And I think we are going forward. Just what I read earlier, I just thought it was kind of interesting, because kind of the way he worded it was, when are these 5 stars going to kind of look at what the 5 stars here do and just decide to start going somewhere else? Which, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I just thought that was a very interesting point to bring up.
No, you're right. I mean, I'm looking here. I pulled up the all-time player rankings of recruits that have come to Tennessee, and a lot of them have come under the Rick Barnes banner. I mean, he's got a background of putting guys in I don't want to say just the NBA, but professional basketball. But it seems like the guys that we get, and I don't know if it's just the ones we're getting, but I don't want to call them projects, but they're not playing like Julian Phillips is absolutely right now not playing like according to 247 Sports. Let's see, where is he at? Oh, sorry. He was number 15 nationally, 6th at his position, number 1 in the state of they've got him at Missouri, but he was from South Carolina. But he's not playing like the number 15 player overall in the country. Has he shown glimpses? Absolutely, he has. Yeah. But he's not where he is. Sometimes I don't even notice him out on the court. But you're talking about the guys. I mean, it's a great question to bring up. You're talking about the guys that have come here. Who do you think number 2 is overall all-time recruit at UT, Harbin?
Who was number 1? Was it Tobias Harris?
Tobias Harris.
Number 2 was Scotty Hobson.
Bingo. There you go.
Yeah,
let's see. Harris was 6th nationally.
Who was?
Tobias Harris was number 6 nationally.
Okay.
Class of 2010. Hobson was class of 2008. He was number 7 nationally. Kennedy Chandler was 3rd. So there's a first Rick Barnes player. He was 9th nationally. Jaden Springer, another Barnes player. He was 16th nationally. Julian Phillips, we just mentioned him, 15th nationally. Keon Johnson, 19th nationally. So players ranked here 3, 4, 5, 6 have all been brought in by Rick Barnes. Let's just go down the list. Number 7, Robert Hubbs, number 20 nationally. That was a 4-year. Like he didn't really like. I thought he never really played to his potential. But he
got thrown into an extremely shitty situation.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. Number 8, Josiah Jordan James. He's been a long-term guy here. He was number 22 nationally. This player is no longer with us. Number 9, Brandon Huntley Hatfield. He was number 26 nationally, and he's playing at Louisville, who is one of the worst teams ever in college basketball, which is crazy to say, Louisville in that sentence. And then rounding out the top 10 is our boy from back when I was in school at UT, Duke Cruz.
Duke.
Number 25 nationally, class of 06.
You want to know who I miss? Major Wingate. Love that guy.
Rest in peace.
Did he die?
Yeah, a few years ago, yes, unfortunately. Oh. I'll never forget Major Wingate story. I can't remember which class it was, Clarence Brown Theater, UT campus. We've gone to the bathroom in there several times, watched a movie about Native Americans in there when it was pouring rain while we were tailgating on Saturday. But I walk in, they have a huge auditorium downstairs. God, I wish I knew what class that was. Major Wingate is standing there at the entrance to the theater or the auditorium with a basket in his hand, passing out condoms before class. I'll never forget it.
In pajamas, I bet.
I don't remember what he was wearing, but probably so. But he was like, "Here, have a condom." I was like, "Is this dude handing out?" I mean, he had a huge basket, like not a picnic basket, but like a big candy basket full of condoms, like Yogi Berra.
He was looking out for his classmates, being a good, genuine human.
Yes.
Good.
Here's another one that's on campus right now that's I don't think is going to play this year, but Freddie DeLeon, or however you say it, he is number 16, number 41. There's some names on here I have not seen in a long time. It's crazy. We can get into that another episode, but yeah, no, you're right. Like I've been disappointed in Julian Phillips. I called him out before some game. I think it's the LSU game. Really stepped up, but there's sometimes you don't know that he's out there. And like, why? I think that's a question. I've always had 2 questions about Rick Barnes, because you all know me and listen to the show. I'm a Rick Barnes advocate. I would be like Paul Heyman around Rick Barnes, but two things that have always bothered me or I question about him is why, like you said, why do these 5-stars always take so long to come around? Kennedy Chandler was great toward the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like that all year long. My other thing is why can't we get a big man in here that can, I'm not saying has to be dominant, because there's really, besides the guy at Purdue, maybe Shebway, a few others sprinkled around college basketball, there's really not a dominant big man, but it always seems like we struggle at that position. Like, why is Adu not coming around? He's pretty highly ranked. I was looking here. He's number 13 in all-time recruiting rankings at Tennessee. Jonas Adu. And sometimes he doesn't even play.
Well,
why can they not get a big man in here? And like, where's Kamwa? Why hasn't he developed? He's been here for 4 years. Adu's in his second year.
Well, piggybacking off of that, I have a statement and a question. The statement is, two of those guys you just named, I think would have benefited tremendously for the university and for their professional career if they would have stayed just one more year. I think Jaden Springer would have been an All-American if he'd have stayed his second year.
I agree.
And I think Kennedy Chandler, I think we would be unbelievable right now if we had Kennedy Chandler. And I think his draft stock would have rose tremendously as well.
Can you imagine this team with, and I know Ziegler, we said he's been struggling, but Ziegler, Vescovi, and Chandler in the backcourt to go together with this team? I mean,
that'd be ridiculous.
We were already ranked number 2. I mean, without him.
And here's my question. We talk about, you was talking about Barnes and his 5 stars. When the man was at Texas was damn near a pipeline to the NBA. I mean, he got Kevin Durant, which Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. I mean, hell, he probably would have been what he was if I was their head coach. But you look at other guys like Miles Turner, LaMarcus Aldridge, TJ Ford's a little bit of a stretch. Him and PJ Tucker are kind of in the same boat. They was like 4-year guys, which TJ Ford was incredible in college. He didn't really pan out much in the NBA, but like, you look at those other 3, and I know I'm missing a few, but LaMarcus Aldridge, Miles Turner, KD, like, at least Aldridge and Durant, perennial all-stars. And Turner's always been like a fringe all-star type guy. Like, everybody wants him at the trade deadline, never pulls the trigger, blah, blah, blah. Why is that not happening here?
What,
I mean, that's just a complete hypothetical question because I don't know how to even start answering it. But I don't know. It's interesting.
I think Rick Barnes is so smart and he's such a mental coach that he almost puts more emphasis on the mental side of certain things than he does the actual skill level, physical level of basketball. We used to joke about them not using a basketball in practice, right? I think that was us. But my other question, why did Texas get rid of Rick Barnes? What was the struggles that Rick Barnes had at Texas that ultimately led them to firing him?
It was his March record, pretty much.
And they weren't winning at the clip. There his last few years, if you go back and look at their teams, they were winning 18, 19, 20 games, but they weren't winning at the clip that he was early in his career there.
Right.
So, I mean, not that they were bad. They weren't even mediocre. They were better than mediocre, but I think they had higher standards that they wanted.
My next question is, how long is it going to take for us to get left behind in recruiting because of Rick Barnes not being in favor of the NIL stuff?
Is he not?
I don't think he's as into it as a lot of other coaches are. I think with football, we've really used that to our advantage. But I think with us being a perennial football school, that it might hurt us with basketball.
Well,
Where so
I don't know. I mean, there's several players in the volunteer club.
I've heard other podcasts talk about this, that your old school coaches, Coach K, Williams, that was one of the reasons why they retired, was because they saw this coming and they weren't interested in doing it.
But you saw Boeheim over the last couple of weeks has really been.
Yes.
He's been ranting a lot about it, and he put his foot in his mouth a little bit. He went after Forbes at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
For quote unquote buying a team, which I don't know enough about all that. I don't know. I mean, you see, like when you go to the arena, Harbin's probably seen it this year. They play an ad for, I think it's the Vol Club that Barnes is in. Now, behind the scenes, is he like when he's going into homes? Is he like, or is he really pushing it? I don't know. I have no idea.
I honestly think
good question though.
I honestly think that I don't think Nick Saban was used to doing this stuff under the books, and he's mad now because everybody can do it up front. And Mac, what's his name? Rule at Nebraska. He's told recruits, if you're wanting to make money, don't come here. I think that's just one of the worst things you can possibly do, because the kid could go make $1 million or $100,000 a season or whatever. I mean, $100,000 a season doesn't seem that far off at these big universities. You're telling a kid, don't come here if you want to make money. I think that's just a stupid recruiting tool.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with that. Which complete side note, I don't know why Nebraska hired him in the first place anyway, but that they're probably going to be bad for another.
Well, they can take a flyer on him. I mean, he was really good at Temple and Baylor. He sucked at Carolina, but
yeah.
I don't know. I see both sides of the NIL thing. I kind of worry about it sometimes. I mean, this is way out of like left field what we're talking about, but I worry about it sometimes because sometimes I feel like we're trying to like pay somebody, we're trying to outbid somebody instead of showing them the whole thing. Like, look at how we play, look at what we got, look at our fan base, facilities, all
coming.
that. Oh, I know. And I worry about it because it's almost like free agency in professional sports. That's the beauty of college athletics and amateur athletics, is you're not having to outbid somebody. And I mean, we got Nico, and I'm glad we got him, and I hope he turns out to be really good. But I have some concerns like they did. Like, or I don't know what we're paying him. I've heard $8 million. That's crazy. That's just absolutely crazy for an unknown commodity. You don't know what you're going to get out of him, but that's
especially considering the 5-star quarterbacks normally hit at about a 50% clip. Like
I don't know.
Panning out wise. I mean,
I don't know. Going back to our question about, you look at the ratings, like we just listened. I mean, Adu is a highly rated player. Like Huntley Hatfield, imagine him on this team this year. I thought he got better as last year went along. Why did he leave? And he went to Louisville. I mean, that was one thing that bothered me this offseason was, why did Brandon Huntley Hatfield leave?
Is he even starting for Louisville?
That I don't know.
I mean, shit, they've won, 4 games?
They're like 3-21 or something. Did you see DJ Burns is having a really good year of course, he left because he had some issues, but he's having a really good year at NC State this year. I didn't even know he was there until the other night. That's another player that's not here.
Another one that left, and this one was kind of understandable why he left, but Drew Pember is absolutely balling at UNC Asheville. Did you see it? Did you see his game the other night? He put up like 47 and 18.
Yeah. He's having a really good year. Good for him. I'm glad he is. I mean, he kind of got lost in the shuffle here because of the position he played, but
at the time we was stacked right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look up DJ Burns. He Rock Hill, South Carolina native, 6'9". He's a graduate student at NC State. I'm trying to pull his statistics up. Oh gosh, come on.
Is he already a grad student?
Yeah. I mean, you got to think he was here back when we were when Bowden was here. So that's been several years ago. But he's averaging 18 points a game. Hold on a second. That's not right. He's averaging 10 points a game. I don't think this is right. I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't read. Let's see here. Averaging 11.9 points per game this season. So, having a pretty good year.
And NC State's pretty good, ain't they?
Yeah, they're ranked top 25. Yeah. I guess I'm saying that to say is like we've missed on some guys, and then there's some guys have left, and I don't know why that's happening at that position under Rick Barnes here. I mean, Grant Williams wasn't really a center.
Derek Walker's another one that left.
Derek Walker left, and I kept waiting for him to kind of break out, and he never did, and then he left.
Where'd he go? Didn't he go to Louisville too?
Or was it Indiana? I think it was somewhere northeast area. I think
it was a red team. I remember that.
Let's look him up while we're here. We'll fact check it in real time again.
Their uniforms are red. The team that he went to after he left us. I don't know where he is now.
Trying to look up Derek Walker basketball. It might help if I spell his name right. Nebraska. You were right.
There it is. He's a corner.
I was way off. But yeah, I mean, it's a question I've had about Rick Barnes since he's been here is why have we struggled so much? And I kept saying at the first of the year, just looking at Jonas Adu, I'm like, and he still could. I mean, he's just a sophomore. He's still got time.
Yeah.
But the development's not been there this year. Kamwa, you see flashes, but he can't put it together consistently. Like, why is that? I don't know. Looking forward over the next few games, I just put the next 3 up here because I think this next 3-game stretch is pretty crucial for Tennessee coming up. You got Missouri at home Saturday. You got Alabama coming to Thompson Bowling next Wednesday, big-time matchup. And then you go to Lexington, to Rupp Arena next Saturday afternoon. According to ESPN's BPI, here's my numbers again, Harbin. 94% chance to win against Missouri, 69% chance to win against Alabama, and 71% chance to win at Kentucky next Saturday. That's what I'm saying. Like, the numbers love Tennessee. So I don't think that's a coincidence, but I think this next stretch is really crucial. Tennessee needs to win 2 out of the next 3. They need to right the ship.
And before you drop those BPI numbers, I was literally going to say we go 3-0 in those games just because that's what I think that this basketball team does. Going back to the play to your competition thing, I think if we have any ounce of heart and a little bit of ass on them, I think we run Missouri out of the gym because I think they're a little overrated. Or they were earlier in the year.
I think they are. I don't think they're better than they were last year, but I don't. They're just okay.
And we're good at home. I mean, Bama's elite, and it kind of makes me want to throw up saying that. But, I mean, they are. They're either the best or second best team in the country in my eyes. But we play to our competition. We play well at home. I think we beat them. And you absolutely have to go to Rupp Arena and win. Like that, with how you lost to them at home, you got to go up there and be like, all right, you caught us slipping, but we're going to come back and we're going to take care of business. So I think we go 3-0 in the next 3.
The next 3 games are all quad 1 games. Missouri is 49, Kentucky's 40, and Alabama's 2. So that's top 50's quad 1. So they're all 3 of these games are quad 1. Now Missouri could fall out if we beat them. I just think these next 3 games are pivotal coming up just because of the way Tennessee's been playing. They need to come out and take care of business Saturday against Missouri. They need to beat Kentucky. The Bama game, I'm not saying is a must win, but those other 2, I think, I don't want to call them must wins. I don't like that, but they need to win those 2 games, Kentucky and Missouri. But the numbers say they're supposed to win all 3, like you said, Harbin. I don't know. Do you think these Big Montana? Do you think these next 3 games are pivotal for the rest of Tennessee season, or not?
I think they are, and me personally, I think we barely beat Missouri, and I think we lose to Kentucky and Alabama. If we keep playing like we are, I hope that they don't. I mean, I hope we go 3-0. But Tennessee is going to have a radical transformation from last night to Saturday to Tuesday or Wednesday to Saturday next week. You're not going to interrupt and not getting to the free throw line and winning that game. You're not going to stay within 20 against Alabama if you don't slow those guys down and get them in foul trouble. Missouri, I think, is a winnable game just because they're Missouri. But yes, this is the most pivotal 3-game stretch until the next 3-game stretch of the season, because Tennessee's down right now, and you're on the mat. You got to get back up. So we'll see what happens.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
if we've got any ounce of fight in us, I think we win all 3 of them.
I'm looking at this.
At bare minimum, we beat Missouri handedly, and then split Bama and Kentucky.
I didn't notice this about Kentucky until just now looking at this. And it kind of surprises me that they're still number 40 in the net rankings. Against Quad 1, they're 1-7. That shocked me. I did not realize that.
Who?
Kentucky is 1-7 against Quad 1 teams. And I'm looking at Missouri here, they're 3-6. So the next 2 out of the next 3 teams we play against opponents similar to us, those teams are 4-13 overall. So that bodes well, but we got to play. But this is plain and simple. Tennessee's got to play better. Yeah. No matter what the numbers say. They shot better last night, bounced back again from the awful, awful shooting game at Auburn. They just got to play better, put a complete game together, play well defensively, play well offensively, rebound, and just straighten up a few things, and I think they'll be okay. I just don't think it's that. I know Day wasn't on here tonight, but he almost, which shocked me. Big Montana and I have sat next to Day at football games for years. He's one of the more positive people you'll see, because there's been times where I'm like way down in the dumps, and he's not. And it kind of surprised me last night. He's like, we've seen this before. They're crumbling in front of our eyes, blah, blah, blah. And they may be. I'm not saying they're not.
Well, we're going to find out Saturday.
We're going to find out over the next 3 games. I think.
Yeah, we're going to find out over the next week and a half. We're going to learn a lot.
Yeah. That's why I was saying these next 3 games, like, how do they bounce back? I mean, it starts Saturday with Missouri, a team you should beat. I don't know what the line's going to be. I would assume double digits, but
if it's at home, I'd say it's at least 8.5.
Well, heck, we were 10-point favorites last night. And obviously lost by 1. But you look at it like we easily should have won that game, but we put ourselves in a bad spot and we ended up losing. And Tennessee can't do that going forward. I was telling a person who does not listen to this show, but I think a lot of people expect Tennessee to win every game by double digits. This is not going to happen this time of year. I mean, Alabama only beat LSU last week by 11. That game was like a 5-6 point game all game.
And Mississippi State should have beat Alabama about a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, absolutely. They should have.
Yeah.
We're just not. Let's chalk it up to what it is. They're just not playing good right now. Tennessee's just not playing good in all aspects. Like that Texas game, they played fantastic. Both ends of the court. I know they gave up 70 points, but they played outstanding. I mean, and leading up to that, they played pretty well. I mean, they weren't playing perfect basketball, but they're just not playing good right now. And they absolutely have plenty of time to turn it around. But like we've just talked about, these next 3 games, we're going to see what their mental fortitude's like this Saturday night. They need to, like Harbin said, if they got a hair on their rear end, they come out and smack like Bama did to Vandy, beat them by 57. Come out and let's take it to Missouri. Come out And don't get me wrong, I don't think they're half-assing it at all. I think they're playing really hard. They're just struggling right now, but at some point you got to get over it and put it together. Sometimes you just got to go out there and make a basket and make a stop.
You remember it might have been our first 3 games of SEC play. It was very early in SEC play. When we had like 2 or 3 games in a row where we had won by like average score of like 38 points, like beating the dog shit out of everybody. And yes, we were super excited, kind of like right now, we're super irritated. But we all came to a consensus. We're like, let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes because this ain't going to last for forever. We're just going to have to ride it out once this calms down. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. I mean, obviously in that stretch, yes, celebrate like we're beating the hell out of folks. But now, yeah, sure, be irritated. But good stretches come to an end. Bad stretches come to an end. It's just all about having a good stretch at the right time. And this bad stretch is going to end eventually. I hope it ends on Saturday, but never know. SEC play, I think, is just as tough as I think it's the second toughest conference in the country. Big 12's a damn gauntlet.
That's rough. That Big 12 is rough.
Holy man. I mean, Oklahoma's a bottom feeder and they beat Alabama by 24. I mean, that's an anomaly. That's an anomaly, but
I'll say this: our losses, though, like they've not been to South Carolina. I mean, imagine losing it. Like if we go and play bad against South Carolina, I mean, Missouri is like we said, Vandy's not great. They're not very good, but they're not bottom feeders anymore. Yes. Kentucky's not. Florida's not. But yeah, you're right.
But what concerns me is the majority of our losses are the teams that currently would probably fall in that 7 to 10 seed range, which is who we would play.
Or maybe lower. Yeah, maybe lower.
Or lower. Yeah. Like the 11 seeds that like make the playing game. Like for a 3 seed, we'd have to see them, you know?
Right.
That's the thing that bothers me. Like I truly have more confidence in us playing a top 5 team than I do a team that's 500 in the SEC right now. Like I don't know how to explain that, but that's just where I am right now.
Well, I said it last week. I'm a huge fan of Rick Barnes. I believe in this program right now, and I was sitting there watching listening to the game last night and looking at the score. It's like, all right, boys, when are you going to break out? And it's like they're right there. Last night they were right there on the cusp, and they just couldn't do it. So we'll see this Saturday. I think this is a big test for the Vols this Saturday. We'll see. I'm excited to see how they do. I know a lot of people are down, but I love UT basketball. I love basketball in general, to be honest. But so other than Tennessee basketball, we got the big game is Sunday. Philadelphia versus the Chiefs. Eagles are -1.5, over under 51. I'll start with Harbin. You're a degenerate gambler. What you got?
My heart and my head are in 2 completely different spaces because my heart will always be anyone but Philly. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate everything they stand for. They have a Bammer at quarterback. They make me want to puke when I see that ugly ass bird. With that being said, I'm not really a big fan of the Chiefs either. However, I'm probably going to gamble on the game. I haven't bet in like 2 or 3 weeks, but probably going to. It's going to be gross, but Philly -1.5 is the play. I think it's the Eagles are just that damn good. I mean, they've only lost 1 game with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. They went on to
very, very good defensively.
Yes, they have the best O-line in football. Great defense. I think what could make it interesting is if the Chiefs put pressure on Jalen Hurts. I was watching something on NFL Network earlier. Jalen Hurts QBR when blitzed is like 68, and that's like 13th or 14th in the NFL out of all the starting quarterbacks. So if they get up in him, it could be interesting. But I mean, you got to get past Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and all those other big old boys up front. But if Philly gets up 7-10 early, that game's over. They're just going to dominate the clock, and that game's over.
Who you got in the big game, Big Montana? Chiefs or Eagles?
I'm going to go Eagles for the same reasons that you all went. I don't have anything against the Chiefs. I just have problems with Chiefs fans. I've never met a Chiefs fan until like 3 years ago. If you're under the age of 10 years old and you're a Chiefs fan, it's fine.
Yes.
But if you're not, then sorry.
It's like when the Cubs won the World Series and got good there in 2015, 2016. Yeah. How many Cubs jerseys and stuff did you see wandering around? Here I was for years wearing Cub stuff, everybody making fun of me. And then I see these kids running around wearing them. It made me sick. Absolutely sick.
It's the same reason I have for people that thought that they're Cavs fans because of LeBron. Well, fine, be a Cavs fan. Then he goes to the Heat. Well, we're Heat fans now. Oh, now he goes to the Lakers. Well, we're Lakers fans now. Like
Brett Stanton.
Brett.
Pick a team, man. Be a diehard.
Sad. Yes.
Hey, speaking of
NBA, look what I got on.
Yeah,
I just now noticed it.
Speaking of NBA, and I'm not going to let Big Montana cut me off because his NBA takes sometimes are egregious and they hurt my ears. Sometimes you come off intelligent. LeBron James is now the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. That's a fact. That's a factual statement. I put zero opinion in that. That's a factual statement.
What did he just say? I was
love him or hate him. That was a cool ass moment. I don't care. Also, the trade deadline was today, and there was an absolutely wild trade deadline.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about LeBron on this show. Not allowed.
I will. I don't give a shit.
Take a helicopter.
I was eating lunch at Buddy's Barbecue today, and they had ESPN up on the screen, and there were trades galore coming up on the screen. What's so funny about Buddy's Barbecue?
Nothing.
I love Buddy's Barbecue.
I don't think that audio picked up, but I heard just enough of it.
Yeah, you heard it.
I damn sure did hear it.
What did I say? I don't know.
You said nothing. It was something Bowling said.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'll have to go back and listen. Anyways, the trade deadline was wild. Shoot, what was I about to say? Oh, real quick, before we're about to run out of time again here. So, TV Teddy Valentine, you know him, referee, very animated. He has been banned from the NCAA tournament. I'd forgotten about this for the second year in a row.
Good.
All leading back to him and like 6 other guys, or when they were in the bubble in Indianapolis a couple years ago during COVID, during the NCAA tournament. They went out to eat at a steakhouse. They came back, and a couple of them tested positive, and they weren't supposed to go out, and they got busted, and they've not let him come back. And I just saw that. My dad actually sent me that this afternoon. I did not know that. I knew that. I'd forgotten about it. But TV Teddy, no, not in the NCAA tournament this year. Sad. I like TV Teddy.
That reasoning's chicken shit, but I like that he won't be there. Well, I take that back. If my team is not playing in a game he's officiating in, like if I truly don't care, it is kind of entertaining.
They actually grade him out as one of the better referees. I didn't know that until recently.
Where do they grade out Pat Adams?
He stinks. I can't stand. And he was there last night at Vandy. He stinks.
I believe it.
Real quick, shout out Carter Hornets. Senior night on Friday night at Jim Williams Gymnasium. They're doing a blackout. We've got a special treat for the starting lineups tomorrow night. Bring your phone and turn the light on.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all I'll say, but I've been working on it today. So And if they win the district and the region, the guys will have a special guest on the show from Carter High School. The Slim Reaper will be here live.
Oh, the Slimmy.
The Slim
Slimmy.
Reaper will be here.
Slim Jimmy.
No, they're 1-1. The guys are 1-1 this week. Same with the girls, but guys lost a bad game, though they're not at Campbell County. They were 9-14. That's a bad loss, guys. But Carter's 19 and that's a quad 4
That's
loss.
like a quad 3 or 4, yeah. Bad on the resume.
4 loss. But it was non-region game, non-district, doesn't really matter. But they're 19-9, looking for win number 20 on Friday night against Pigeon Forge, and then they head into the district tournament at Carter. So if you're bored tomorrow night on Friday night, come out to Jim's Gym. You'll hear your boy Negative Nease on the mic. So
when is the district tournament?
It begins next Thursday at Carter High School. I think the girls play Thursday night. The girls tournament starts Thursday night. Boys is on Friday, and they alternate nights. And they'll go into next Monday and the following Monday and Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Carter is in the boys side. They are the 1 seed. And I think the girls are the 3 seed. So
good.
They need to get that 1 seed because they can make a deep run if they do. So we'll see. All right. Well, very long episode, but a good show. Appreciate Harb and Big Montana coming on. Shame on Day Vol for not showing up. Sad.
He's heard about Disney.
Yeah, we didn't tell you this, Bowling, but Disney's in a world of hurt. They're losing subscribers. They're laying off employees. The Vols lost last night. Day's had a rough couple days.
Yep.
Sad.
All right, Tony Schiavone.
We are out of time. Appreciate everybody listening, and we'll see you next week on the Section YY8 podcast.